Hello. Okay, let's see here. I think the leg should be better this time. I think I need to post the link for people. That might be helpful, huh? On Twitter. Give me a second. Okay. I hope I sent the right one. Let me see here. Look. Just copy and paste it. Well, I hope so. I'm sure people will scream if it's not the right link. All right. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. I gotta get this out of the way. All right. Okay, good. I'm just arranging my window so I can see Twitter, my YouTube feed, and I gotta change the quality so it's low on my live feedback to myself on YouTube, so it doesn't eat about the bandwidth. Let's see, and then I think that should be good. Whoa, that's not what I want. Okay. All right, let's see who do we have in the we have 6 watching. Yay, Zayden. Hey, hello. Chicken Sandwich, welcome back. What's up? Broccoli Batman LLC. All good on the link. Oh, thanks for confirming that. Broccoli Batman LLC. That's a funny name. I think the leg should be a lot better today, so I'm super excited about that. All right, you guys, ladies. I noticed on my YouTube data analytics, we have about I think around 4 or 4.9% female, and the rest are males. I think we need to bring that percentage up. Let's see here. How do I view my Twitter comments on open OBS here? Tools, docs, what the heck? Full screen. No idea. I have to figure that out later. I'll just use YouTube's comment section. How's the video quality, and how's the lag for you guys? I think instead of looking at my face, how about we put some charts up, huh? Let's take a look at the heat map. That'd be more fun. Let's see here. That should do it. There we go. You guys can see here we touched down below 41 again. I think I tweeted about this like, I don't know, like maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes, and then and then it dropped down to 41 and something. Let's see what it was. Oh yeah, 41.7K, the lowest in recent days. So that's pretty interesting. It didn't even wait 48 hours. It's just like bam. So it'll probably retest like tonight, tomorrow, this weekend. I'm pretty confident about that. I got my highlighter on here. That's where we are. You see this two spoof walls here, one on top, the sell wall on top, and the buy wall on the bottom. Squeezing the in between is the price. Look at this one, 40. The 40.8K wall disappeared. Look at that, it disappeared. Some of it probably moved up here because this wall got more red and thicker, and some of it moved down here because this wall got more warmer color. Let's see what you guys got in the comments. Let's see Zaid and Beck's nicknames here. Broccoli, Batman, LSC, spot on. Zayden. Let's see, quality is not that good. Can you tell me more about what the quality is? It should be a 1080p at least. And my my indicator said the KB / kilobits per second is looking good. Zayden asks, is there an inverse head and shoulder on the 1 day time frame? Let me load that up in a second and see. Chicken Sandwich asked, have you thought of properly open a Discord? Yeah, Chicken Sandwich, I have been working with Discord to get that opened up. This mix up between my email and my phone number and all that stuff, it was just a headache for a couple years. I pretty much gave up on it, but they've been helping me try to figure it out. So we'll probably get that sorted out soon. Let's see here. Let's see. Zayden said, I'm watching on 140p. Let me restart YouTube. Dude, that's painful. 140p is painful. Let me check my YouTube and see if what's broadcasting at. Yeah, it's going up to I'll show you. This might look kind of funky, but I'll show you the setting. It's opened up to 180p. Not 180p, 1080p. So you should have that option there. Let's see here. Zayden said I can only watch on 140p. I don't know, dude. Let me see if I can change. I'm gonna change mine and see what it does. I'm still trying to figure all this stuff out here. Oh yeah, mine does go up to 1080p, which is the max that I sent it out at. But let me drop it down because I don't need to see it at high res for my own stuff. All right, let me load up the chart and we'll take a look at. Ooh, look, price is just inching up, 42.2. Yay! Let me load up Trading View and take a look at the 1 day here. I haven't looked at the trade. I haven't looked at the 1 day chart in a while. Let's see here, chart. Okay. Give me a second, guys. I'll be back. Okay. So we have this is Trading View 1 day chart. Ignore all these notes. That's from the previous days. So head and shoulder. Are you thinking this? Which is the head and which is the shoulder? I'm confused. Are you thinking that's the head and that's the shoulder, and we might have a shoulder here? Is that what you're thinking? Zayden, I'm glad it's working for you, man. Because 140p would be painful. You won't be able to see any details on the charts. So hang on a second. I'm gonna show you guys something. I'm gonna for those who don't know what a head and shoulder is, I'm gonna pop this over for you. So basically, a head and shoulder is this. You got the head here, you got the shoulder here, you got the shoulder here. So it looks like this. It tends to rise up to the shoulder, shoulder drops down, rise up to the head, head drops down, back to the shoulder, shoulder drops down. So that's what it looks like. Think of it like a football player wearing like a football uniform with shoulder pads, and that's what you're gonna have. And typically this is a bearish pattern, because what it'll do is it'll just be symmetrical on both sides, and so the shoulder, the second right shoulder here will drop. That's what it's measuring. And this right here, this line where the bottom is for these and for the neckline, that would be a measurement of if the shoulder crosses that line. That's a confirmation that's a head and shoulder. But if it comes down here and bounce back up, that's not a confirmation. So I hope that helps. So I'm not sure which one you think is the head and shoulder, buddy, but I'm not seeing it. Maybe you're thinking this is the head and this is the shoulder. I don't know. Oh, inverse head and shoulder. Okay, so inverse head and shoulder. That would be the reverse. That would be the flipped. Sorry about that. So it'll be the flip. It'll be upside down. So let me see what you're thinking here. So you think it'll be like if we flip this upside down. So Zayden, walk me through what you're seeing as far as inverse head and shoulder. So in an inverse head and shoulder, the head would be down here, and then it'll go. So head go down here. It'll be like, let me see if I can draw this for you. Hopefully this will work. So an inverse head and shoulder would look something like, so a head and shoulder would look like this. That's a head and shoulder. The inverse head and shoulder, let me make that thicker for you guys. Okay, that's the head and shoulder. The inverse head and shoulder would look like this. Man, that looks like that. That looks kind of phallic, but I'm so sorry. Okay, so the inverse head and shoulder would look like this. I'm not seeing it, Zayden. So maybe you're thinking, yeah, I'm still not seeing it. Chicken sandwich says 140p. That's why he's probably imagining things. Okay, so Zayden, I'm not seeing, man. You gotta help me out here. Head is a bit demolished. Oh god. All right, let's see. I'm gonna take this off here, guys. this this may not be PG-13 anymore. Okay. Uh, oh, okay. What I'm seeing, if you guys want to know what I see on the daily chart, I mean, let's just take a look at it. I'm gonna take some of these out so it's not to confuse some of you guys. Let's see here. Let's get rid of some of these so because they're not current. Where is this guy? Uh-oh. Oh, there it is, way in the bottom here. There we go. So what can we draw on the on the daily chart? So we see it going down here, right? You got 3 candles in a row. We have not 3 red candles. Not sure about the current day yet, but more than likely it'll be red. So we have not had that on this pattern up. I think it was yesterday where I mentioned that we've not had a 2-day red candle in a row, 2 consecutive red candles in a row. And so that was very bearish. And now we're about to have a 3rd candle, maybe. So this pattern here became very bullish with this print, these 3 candles here. So what do we see on the daily chart? Well, we can draw a couple things. First one we can draw is this pattern here. This, you can draw, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Whoa, it's not what I want. Let's erase that guy. Okay, let's go to here. Okay. Well, oh wait, what's interesting on the daily chart is that it's on the just riding on the 50-day moving average. That's it was under it, went over it, and then now it's back down, riding just right there. It's like 2 days in a row. That's interesting, and it's also right at this high volume trading price level. But let's go back and draw some charts. What can we draw here? One is that you can do a channel, horizontal channel going this way, but I think I'm going to do this instead. I think we can do, I think I need to increase the line for you guys. Probably can't see that. Let's go increase that up a little bit. Yeah, hope that's the thickest I can draw it on this monitor. So let's go, you could potentially draw like probably like here. You can do descending triangle potentially. That's one pattern, and that's a bearish pattern. If breaks below this line here, which is around 41, surprise, 41k. If it breaks below 41k, that's definitely bearish. But if it breaks above this top resistance line of the triangle, then it'll have a better chance of coming back up, at least on the daily chart. The other pattern you can form on this one is probably this one, somewhat a symmetrical triangle. If you go out here, go through those lines, drop it here, like right there, and you can extend this down here, then you end up with a symmetrical triangle. Let's extend it out anyways. So if that's the case, and then it could ride along here, go down to here, and still at any time could break up to the upside here, and that would be bullish. But if it breaks down to this way, it rides down, breaks down through this way, that's extremely bullish. By then we would have hit, it would have been down below 40 by the time it goes down this way and goes down here. If it does this on the daily chart, you more than likely we're gonna hit towards the recent lows. That's something to consider on the daily chart. Broccoli Batman said, Thomas, what if any are the benefits of paying Bookmap as opposed to using the free license? Good question. So on the upper subscription levels, they have. Let me change this. We'll get rid of this for now. Yeah. So on the on Bookmap, the upper tier subscription levels, they give you different abilities such as like recall. Like for example, I think on the top tier you can recall up to 7 days as far as history, and on the mid tier you can recall within 24 hours, and on the free version I think it's within an hour or so. Those are some of the benefits. There may be others. I think this one right here, for example, I don't think it's on the free tier version. Like for example, you can go to Bookmap data, and that's what I use to get the aggregated. Oops, sorry about that. To get the aggregated data, for example, if I wanted aggregate data for BTC from different exchanges, and then that would be in the mid tier and above. I hope that answered your question. See. Broccoli said Bookmap orders seemed light, like on both buy and sell walls, plus minus 3K. Yeah, let me zoom out for you guys so you guys can see. So currently we're just gonna zoom out slowly so you can see more details. So currently right here, this wall just came in right here, the sell wall at 43.5K, and then this wall just came in right here, 43.1K roughly right here. So these are new on the sell walls here. On the buy walls, this guy disappeared. And he probably moved down here or some of it up here. You can see right there. There's a decent amount of buy walls down here. There's a thick sell wall up here. So they're gonna fight it out. Down here at 40, we get a decent one. It's not that big though. It can crush right through that. These walls up here are not that big. Back when it was more volatile, The walls were giant, like 900 and over 1,000. But these are nothing. If they wanted to, they can push right through here. Yeah, up above 43. Yeah, that's not much up here at all. See this wall up here? This wall here at 50K disappeared. And all these actually, this one at 52K, 51K, and 50K all disappeared. I mean, some of it still left, but the majority of it disappeared. Interesting, huh? Let's see up above. Yeah, not much up here. It's not even worth looking up above because, well, we got to make it past the 40s first. And let's go down below. So down below we got, you can see the 40K there. This wall just came in right here. It's probably this one. Came in at 35.6 roughly, 35.50, 35,550. Down here, just like they can't make up their mind what they want to do. We got some at 32, 30. Yeah, 30 is it's grown a bit larger again. And then down here 29, you can see this one right here kind of faded. 25, yep, 28. 28 got lighter though. It just keeps coming in and out. I'll zoom here, I'll show you. You see the one at 28, it just kind of like, it got bigger and then got lighter, and then 25, it kind of disappeared for a while and then came back in here. So yeah, some of these levels came back as the price started moving down. Yeah, so a lot of sell pressure on top and even bigger ones at the bottom here. There's more sell pressure, buy pressure right directly below than there are sell pressure right directly above. So that's why you can see, you see that price is not moving down. It's just going horizontal pretty much after it dipped down here. Let's see what other comments you guys got. Okay. I'm going to do a test and see how long it takes for my fingers to come on the live stream. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's about 5-second delay. That's not bad. Before it was like, I don't know, like above 30 seconds. YouTube average, I think it's about 30 seconds lag between where people sit and also when it appears on the live stream. What questions do you all have regarding the content that I made today? Look at that, we grew to 11 now. What a big audience. Okay. So 2 questions in a row about spoof walls. The first one is from Broccoli. Broccoli asks, how you often mention spoof walls in both directions. At what level or dollar amount do the walls exemplify relevance to you? I'm not so sure what you mean by the second part, Broccoli, but I'll answer the first part. So I think I understand the second part, but let me give it a shot anyways. And that the second question was from Eyal. How much of the wall was spoof wall when we dipped below 42? Well, I'll answer both of them questions together. So spoof walls occur all the time, and I'll give you some examples here. So so spoof walls can happen at any price range, whether it be on top of the price range, which are sell spoof walls, or at the bottom, which are buy spoof walls. So we'll take a look at some, but it might be easier to take a look at not an aggregate, but more from a particular exchange. So let's take a look at Binance, for example. Here's a spoof wall. This is the reason it's easier to look at a particular exchange because the spoof walls tend to belong to one entity because the colors are more solid versus on an aggregate. Aggregate, it just combines all of them together, so it's harder to see, and they kind of blend together. So let's look at Binance. So here's a spoof wall. This is a sell spoof wall. You see how, here it is. It comes in at this period right here, and it sits there as price is going up. It's trying to pressure the price to go down, but price didn't go down. Price continued to go up, and as soon as price shot up, it didn't even touch it. See, it disappeared before the price touched it. That's a sell spoof wall. And let's take a look at a buy spoof wall. I'm going to have to go back the other way to show it to you. Okay. So here's a buy spoof wall. You see the price was moving up. So this wall came in, right? Came in, and it wanted to push the price up some more. Price did rise. What did that wall do? That wall moved up. See that? It just keeps changing the level. And here's another one that came in too. So let's go back and see a more concrete one when it touched, where it came closer to the price. So right here, here's one. Price came up. Part of this wall right here came up here. Try to nudge the price up. Price came down. It moved. It didn't even allow the price to touch it. It moved, disappeared. But you can see that you see how it moved down. Moved down to here, to here. Price didn't even touch it. Price didn't touch any of these stuff. Came down to here. Price never touched it. Keeps moving out of the way. And the reason spoof wall works is this: is on the order books, some people might think for a buy wall, right? A buy wall, if it comes here, people might say, okay, well, that's a large buy order. Well, I better move my price up so that I can get ahead of this buy wall. Because if this buy wall eats up all the sell orders, I won't get to buy my orders won't get executed. So what people do is they look at that and they're like, oh crap, I better move mine up. So they move theirs up, and price may come down and it gets absorbed and price will go up. So the spoof walls did its job. That's how they work. So yeah, it could happen at any price range. Some of the ones that we see at the that have been sitting around for a long time, they could very well be spoof wall. Part of it could be spoof wall. Part of it could be real. It's hard to tell until the price moves close to it. And we can look here and see if price touch any of them. Nope. You don't see any walls being touched by price. Let's see here. Maybe if we zoom in, we'll see something. Yep, nothing. Like, you see that these walls went up, propped the price up, but the price really never touched. You see these sell walls here? Price came close to it, moved up here, and then moved up out of the way. Yes, at least in this time frame, nothing really touched it. Same thing here. Price moved up, didn't do much. It kept changing. Let's see here. Well, I hope that explained the spoof wall stuff. your chicken sandwich said your tweets today were spot on and informative. Mr. T. I'm not sure if you guys remember Mr. T from the A Team. I think they had a couple remakes or something, but it was an 80s TV series with Mr. T who wears the gold chains and the mohawk. When you guys say Mr. T, that's what it reminds me of. Chicken sandwich that learning more and more, enjoy more and more every day from you. Oh, that's great, man. That's so cool. Well, I'm not sure if you're a man, but that's so cool. MMA Dog, hey, you're back. Are spoof walls working? Lots of people fall for them. Yeah, they do work from time to time, especially with beginners, especially when they don't have a heat map and they just look at their order books on the exchanges. They do work. I remember back in the days when I used to fall for them too. I would like set a certain price and I would see these giant orders, pop in front of me. I'm like, what the heck? So I would readjust mine and they would readjust theirs. And like, I would get frustrated. Eventually I moved to the point where it was so near to the market price, but it was a learning. So they do work. They got me fooled when I first started. You're welcome, EL. See here, Yasin, do you think it'll go up or down? Yasin, I've always maintained this. I know it's important for people to understand if prices are moving up or down. I get it. It's more important that you learn to prepare for the price to move up and down. And the reason is because price will always move up and down. And if you're not prepared for the move, then you're going to be either out of money and sitting there at the dip wishing you had money to buy. Or if you're not prepared for the upward movement, you're not going to be taking profit. And if you're not taking profit or partial profit, then you won't have money to buy the dip. So instead of being concerned about whether the price is going to move up or down, just be prepared for it. Like have entries where you're going to buy and have exits where you're going to sell. That's more important than when what the prices are moving up or down. So to answer your question, though, I think that the current environment at the macro level, what I mean by macro level is this. You got an imminent war that could happen, an invasion, from Russia to Ukraine. That's going to devastate the market temporarily. In the long run, it won't. But in the short run, yeah, for sure. Heavy wick down. If Russia attacks Ukraine, you're going to see a giant wick down from the market. In equities, in crypto, yeah, it's going to be felt right away. So COVID is out there. I like how the politicians are spinning COVID and saying that, yeah, Omicron level infections and all that stuff has been dropping. The fact of the matter is we are at an accelerated death rate, like matching the two high periods when Donald Trump was president. So they can spin it all they want and try to especially with the Democrats, how they do in a 180 on the mass mandates, how they, a lot of them who are in more purplish areas. What I mean by purplish is that it's their area up for re-election could swing either way. Could swing either left or right, or Democrat or Republican. And so they're trying to win over voters by, wanting to remove mass mandates. So there's implications to mass mandates. If we remove them and at the current death rate, what if it gets so bad? And on some days, we're over 2,000 deaths per day in the U.S. That's what it was like during Trump's time and during the bad times. So, that could shut the economy down again. If the economy gets shut down again, we're going to have March 2020 all over again. So those are the things we got to consider. And the inflation is rising. With the current inflation rate at 7.5 on the CPI, the true inflation rate is at least 20 or above. That's true inflation. If you count all the things that actually people actually use, yeah, it's 20 or north of 20 at least. You combine all those factors together, and the feds have not come out with any concrete plan about inflation. We got the March meeting coming up, and also the Valentine's Day emergency meeting coming up. And whatever they decide, that's not going to have an impact on the market, the economy right away, because any decisions that they make actually takes months, 6 months to actually show up in the market, in the economy. So we're looking into like mid-year before any whatever the decision is gonna impact. So when you look at that, you're gonna see inflation go from CPI go from 7.5 to it just keeps rising, and so that's gonna potentially put us in a recession if they take like dramatic measures. It's a very delicate position that Jerome Powell is in right now. If he takes too dramatic of action, it could result in a recession. And if he doesn't control inflation, well, inflation is going to go out of control. So he's kind of like boxed in the corner. The federal government right now, they're boxed in a corner, and the decisions they make, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. So inflation continues to rise. That's what's going to happen. And that's going to shock the market. So long-term wise, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, quality coins, it's bullish. I'm extremely bullish on Bitcoin and quality coins for the long term. However, in the immediate term, I don't think the bottom is in yet. And I've said that time and time again. Even though crypto Twitter recently, it's like, oh yeah, it's like bottom's in. I don't think the bottom's in. Even though the indicators show the bottoms may be in, I don't think so. Just the macroeconomic situation, it doesn't allow for the bottom to be in at this time. So we gotta make sure that we are prepared for that. Let me know if you guys want the chart back on. I hit the wrong button. I hit the outro button. Anyways, yeah, remember to subscribe. Click the like. Or if you dislike it, double tap the dislike. And leave comments. Let's see what other comments you guys have. Wallet, did you just like shell something? Metaflix to the moon? Are you serious, dude? You're oh gosh. Let's see here. Tom, great video. Thanks, buddy. Been following a bunch. That's awesome. Wonder how much active trading have you been doing the past week? Not much. So I layer in on the way to the bottom. So some of those orders have been filled. So I'm just waiting for a Bitcoin to get down to the low 30s and also potentially upper 20s. Or if it goes to mid 20s, I'm prepared for that too. So I've layered in already, and I'm just waiting for the bottom. So I haven't been doing much at all. Just creating content for you guys so you guys can be informed and make decisions and not FOMO in and prepare to buy the bottom, because there's still possibility that it's going to come, and I want you guys to be prepared. That's so important. So important to buy the bottoms and layer in. Don't wait for the bottom, because we don't know where the bottom is. Just layer in slowly and make sure you still have cash aside. Let's see, trying to be more patient during choppy times, but poking at all my orders in these. Yeah, man, it's tough. Tom, it's tough. When things are choppy, going sideways, and you're waiting. It's tough. And I get it. If you feel like you should change your order, I totally feel you. We all have been there, and there were times when I changed my order and I regret it. I've learned over time. I just set it at the certain critical levels, and I forget it. And if they get filled, great. If they don't, I still have money left to buy more dips, and that it's worked out well for me. I'm gonna butcher your name here. Citron, I think that's how you pronounce it. Hey Thomas, could you possibly give us trade signals? I'm trying to pay off my college tuition fee by myself rather than putting my parents through the stress. Trade signals. Citron. Well, first of all, dude. Dudette. First of all, that's awesome that you're paying off your tuition on your own. That can be tough. I'm not sure how much you own, but student loans are extremely expensive these days. I'm so sorry you have to do that. My girlfriend has a big one that she has to pay off as well. So I feel you. I'm not sure what you mean by trade signals. Everything I've provided essentially are trade signals. They're not financial advice, but they are some ideas for you to use to help you. So I'm not sure what you're asking for. So if you can clarify, I'd be happy to answer that for you. Get the charts back on so we can see what's happening, huh? We're back at roughly 42.3. Ooh, we're up to 15 viewers now. Just like blowing it up, guys. Okay, so we have 15 viewers and only 9 likes. Are you guys serious? Wow. Wow. It's almost 1 o'clock here. It's 12:46 Pacific Standard Time. Smash those likes, guys. Girls, ladies, gentlemen. If there are some pets watching too, pound that like with your paws. Come on. Citron said a small heads up on potential trades that you would be taking. Okay. Citron, that's tough, man, because I don't want to be responsible for, you guys' losses. Things like no one can be 100% sure. I mean, like, I give you guys almost intraday information. Like when things are trading sideways, those are good opportunities. Like, to like when I say that things are trading in a channel, those are opportunities to do intraday trades. Just watch the Bollinger Bands and or like the RSI and just trade within that range. When I tell you there's a channel, yeah, intraday. Beyond that, I mean, like, I'm not sure that by the time I give you some signals that you have time to do stuff. So I'm not so sure that I can help any more than that. EO. Do I ever short? Sure. Yep, I do. Like, for example, if I don't do shorts on leverage, I do shorts on the spot. So, for example, if I think price is gonna go down, I do short it. I sell it where I think it's high, and I just rebuy it back when it's low. Oh, 13 likes now. Hey, that's better. Citron, yeah, man. Yeah, the timing would be so like, yeah, I'm not sure about that. Like the timing, like between like things could change so fast. Yeah, yeah, I'm not so sure about that, Citron. Sorry, buddy. Broccoli. The network is powerful, Thomas. At least you aren't a Facebook that lost 300 billion valuation in a day. Yeah, Facebook. I have very strong feelings about Facebook and what they have done to the mental health of young people and adults. I have very strong feelings about Facebook. MMA dog. Social media is bipolar these days, flipping from FUD to FOMO to FUD so quickly. Better to look at the macros and prepare, as you say. MMA, yep, I hear you, man. I crypto Twitter. I stopped like, man, I, I, I used to flip through crypto Twitter and just look at what the influencers are saying, but they flip flop so much. Yeah, like when the price was rising from 33 k roughly. Crypto as soon as it went up to like upper 30s, and crypto Twitter was like, oh yeah, bottoms in, bottoms in. And I'm like, hell no. Where do you see the bottom being in? I see that's going up and it's got multiple days of green candles. I see that, but like, and then you look at the charts. The charts are wonderful. TAs is awesome, but the, it only applies to some situations. You gotta look at the macro environment. You gotta see, what is the potential for what if, like, CPI comes in like hot. What if Russia attacks Ukraine? You gotta price those things in and think about, what are the potentials. Yeah, those things can cause another bottom. So, yeah, gotta be prepared. Broccoli says sounds risky. I'm not sure which one you mean. Let's see here. Joe, what platform do you use to short if you are in the U.S.? I just use the exchanges. I mainly use KuCoin because of all the different customer service issues I've had, KuCoins has come through the best. So I use them. Service is really important to me. I spent decades coaching and teaching customer service to my team members, and so it's close to my heart. So KuCoins has deliver on service, so I use them. Everyone is deleting their tweets if they're wrong. um, you know, I don't delete my tweets. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I follow up and let you know what I learned, because we all can learn from it. But that's up to them. Michael Sullivan says, I saw you using KDJ indicator in an older video. Do you still use it to trade? Um, I use it as one indicator of many. I don't use just KDJ. It is one of many I rely on. It is one of my favorites, though. Marcus, hi. Hope you have a great morning. Well, I haven't slept yet. I think it's almost 1 a.m. in the Pacific Coast time. Let's see here. First time on the stream here. Don't know if you already covered it, but would you mind going over new order levels on macro scale, like daily or weekly? Could you elaborate that on for me, Marcus? What do you mean by new order levels, like on BTC or what? Um, Sippy, what do you think of the liquidity of Bookmap at 30 to 28? Let's take a look. I showed it earlier. Let's review. The 30K wall has been there for a long time. A long time. I'm just gonna. So I'm not sure if you all remember how the various walls that were down here, they all disappeared. So if price flashed through here, it's pretty easy to go down to 30. So you look at 30, you get 424 roughly here, and 29 is roughly around 200 and some. So that's not large at all. It used to be much bigger down here, and I have a feeling that the walls in between here will grow, and these walls will grow. So, like, I've seen walls that were like 900, 800, 1,000, 1,100. So compared to what they were before, these are not that big. So a quick wick could easily go right through here, and it will depend on how quick of a wick it is, and the amount of cell pressure. These currently are not that big, so yeah, let's see here, 263 and 434. So yeah, not big at all, but like, yeah, totally. I mean, this is very realistic given the macro environment right now. And I'm sure crypto Twitter will change and flip flop again and start saying, "Oh yeah, the bottom's not in yet." Let's see here. Marcus, it's totally his morning, but except it's really early morning, like 1 a.m. kind of morning. Yeah, I have charts going back way back, so if you guys can review back on some of those heat maps, you see that they were pretty big. So I'm sure they'll get bigger as price starts dropping. Which exchange have you got the most spoof walls? Um, it depends. It depends. I've seen. I'll give you an example. I have Binance and Coinbase Pro up. In the past, the spoof walls happen more on Binance. So here's Coinbase Pro. You see that here's a wall right here. Here's Coinbase. Yep. So here's Coinbase. You see Coinbase. You see around the price line. There's not a lot of spoof walls. You see that? But you see walls here. See these are like probably one entity. But around the price line, not much. Here's Binance. Here's Binance. It's a little bit different. But Binance used to be really bad with spoof walls, right close to the price line, and this is the aggregate. You can see more spoof walls across different exchanges. So it depends on the period. I've seen them change, but in the past, Binance probably had the most, but it changes. Sippy asks, if it's possible to exploit the ignition algo, watching the liquidity on on Bookmap. I'm not sure what you mean by the ignition algo. So if you could clarify that for me, that would be appreciated. But can you exploit using a Bookmap? I know people use Bookmap to trade like within minutes time frame. You can do a lot with the data that's available on here. I mean, you can use for intraday or swing trading. It's phenomenal. Long-term macro, it's not as helpful, but the buy and sell levels can be helpful in long term, as far as like weeks or months even, to be able to see some of these levels just sitting there waiting. So that's helpful. But for intraday and like scalping, phenomenal tool for that. You see here, it's just hanging at 42.3 roughly, just hanging right here, And the longer it hangs here, the more likely it's going to go up or down. More than likely, given the pattern that it's been behaving, more than likely it's going to go down. Ooh, we've gone up to 17 people. Oh, 16 people now. And we got 17 likes. Appreciate all the likes, y'all. Sippy, thanks for clarifying what ignition algo is. He said that, or he or she said that ignition algo is where you see the liquidity on the book map moving like line charts above and under the price in the past. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know much about that, Sippy. So I wouldn't be the one to answer that. I definitely will look into that though, and learn more about it. So at this present moment, I wouldn't be able to answer that with anything that's useful. Thanks for smashing the likes. Got 18 now. That's awesome. How's the volume lately? When you say volume, do you mean there's two different kind of volumes I look at? Let me show you. Man, I'm hungry. Let's see here. Minimize this. So the volume, the cumulative volume delta, the CVD here, and this is coinalize.net. This volume tells here. I'm gonna shrink it so you can see. This is it's an aggregate CVD. So what this helps me understand is supply and demand. So if it's trending up like this, I'll zoom out so you can see it more. Actually, let's do 1 day. So here you can see demand drop, and this was back in March 2021. Okay, so demand dropped, and then recently it hit bottom here. Only recently did it start to climb up, but notice what happened. It climbed up and then flattened out. So it started flattening out around February the 9th, and it's been flat. So that's concerning. That it's it flattened out. So that's one type of volume I look at, which is the CVD aggregate, cumulative volume delta. The other volume that I look at is, let me open up this one. So this one is the 8 hour. Let's change this to the day so we can see it better. If I can find it. Okay, let's go. Actually, let's do the week. Week is probably better. This is the week, and this is using Bitfinex. I can change it to Binance too, but they tend to be similar. So if you look at the volume here, right here, you see the volume. You see these high volumes here compared to these volumes here. It's still significantly low. This is the traded volume. Okay, and that's the volume for that week or that day, but this is in the week, so it's still really low. Volume's really low. Like as I mentioned before, price was rising 2 weeks in a row, but volume was dropping. And some people say, well, you know, sometimes it doesn't matter. Well, yeah, sometimes it doesn't matter. A few times it doesn't matter, but a lot of times it matters. So yeah, and look at that. We had two white candles or green candles on the weekly. We drop in volume, and then guess what? I mentioned that's just not right. And guess what? We have a weekly red candle starting. We don't know if it's going to be red yet. But so yeah, volume hasn't picked up at all. In fact, cumulative volume is like demand is dropping or flattening out. It's no longer rising. I hope that answered your question. I'm gonna get some water. Hang on a second. Naveen, regardless of the current prices, what's your thought on the bullish crypto adoption news that's been happening this month? Man, I love adoption. I think more institution, more companies, more countries adopting Bitcoin, crypto. That's fantastic. I'm super excited about that. Long term, um, if you follow the adoption curve for technology, since let's say like um, the 80s or 90s or whatever, starting with the internet, then mobile, and now crypto. Crypto is following very similar pattern and faster adoption than the internet. And I've been there with the internet since like forever. So um, yeah, it's fantastic. Crypto is if you compare crypto to cellular, for example, smartphones or just cell phone in general, if you put them on a chart, crypto is only a tiny little dot on that map of mobile adoption. And by the time it expands to even a quarter of the mobile phone adoption, crypto would be the market cap would be so huge. So I'm extremely bullish on that. Great question. All right, MMA, have a good night. Thanks for joining, man. I'm surprised I haven't seen some of the regulars that came on the other two. It's funny to say they're regulars, but they came on the two previous live streams, and I feel so bad. I rewatched those live streams, and they were long, and the lag was so horrible. And gosh, those people that stayed, man, that I so appreciate that. That's incredible. Yeah, the lag was so horrible. The only audio was worth listening to. The video was just horrible. I appreciate y'all being here. Hopefully this is a lot better. It looks like a lot better. So super stoked about it. Tom asks, which tool is this with the red and white candles and clean dot lines? My trading view chart look like crap compared to this crispy goodness. um, Tom, I don't. A lot of things are red and white on here. I So do you mean like this stuff over here? Or this stuff over here, or this stuff down here. There's so many red and white stuff here. Let's see here. Let me read that again. red and white candles. Okay, red and white candles. Do you mean this stuff here? Okay, so the dotted lines. So this dotted line is the moving average. So instead, I should just show you. How's that? I'll show you. So if you go up here in Trading View, you click on go to Volume, and you click on the setting here, and you can change the colors here. I just changed mine to like this one. I use this this gray here, and this red. I use this red down here, probably this red down here. And for the moving average, I just use the circles, because when there are too many lines on the chart, it overwhelms the observer, and so I want to minimize that as much as possible to only convey the information that is most important. So sometimes I turn them all. I turn a lot of them off, and if in case you didn't know, you can turn them off here. Like here, I have the Bollinger Band. This is the Bollinger Band. It's really light. You probably can't see it, but you can just go up here where it shows you the eye. You can click on it to turn it off, and it'll have a line across the eye, in case you didn't know. And you can turn on or off any indicator you want. Same thing with down here, like KDJ. You can go click on the eye, and it'll disappear, and it'll reappear. I hope that helped. And over here, these bars here, that's basically the volume for the trade at those traded price range given this time frame. So this time frame is back to roughly, let me see, hang on, let me look. It's so tiny. Oh yeah, so that's February of 2021. So this whole range here, from here to here, is from February till now. These histogram bars here measures the traded volume at those price range for that time frame. So, and you can find that using the what's called the VPSV indicators, and I can show you that. Let me show you that here. So you click on indicators, and I hope you can see this, but they're down here where it says volume profile, session volume. You see that? And then you can have volume profile, visible range. The visible range is this one over here on the right, and the volume session HD, that you can only see on this smaller time frame, like hourly. I'll show you that on the hourly. So this is the 8 hour. It won't show it on here. So I go 1 hour. Hang on a second. Let me look. It's so tiny here. Yeah, that should be right here. Go here too. So that you can, I'll zoom in so you can see it. So what it does on the VPSV, the HD, it breaks down into the a session. So it breaks down the chart into little segments, and it'll show you in that segment. For example, this segment right here, the volume is highest right around this area. So within this smaller range, the volume is highest here. So I hope that answered some of your questions. This is the browser version. I haven't tried the desktop version yet. I'm sure it. Yeah, I'm curious to try it. But on the browser, it's easier for me to do videos because I can just switch between the tabs, and that helps a lot. I guess on the desktop, I could just go Alt Tab on Windows. Let me catch up on the comments here. AB. Hi, AB. I'm a regular. Just woke up. Lag isn't a problem. Great info. Thanks. Okay. Thanks. Thanks for letting me know. Tom says the whole thing. Tom, that's a lot, man. That's a lot to go into. So what I would, if you want yours to look crisp and nice, figure out like a color theme scheme that you want to do, and just reduce the amount of colors. That will help make things more cohesive. I would start there. Let's see here. Sippy, you have a preferred setup of Confluence that give you confidence to place a trade. I don't have a particular setup, Sippy. I'm just like, I use what indicators or what tools that applies to the situation. And so, yeah, I don't have a particular setup per se. I just look for the data I need to confirm. Like, I just don't use 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. I use a lot. And so it's helped. It's helped a lot. And a lot of people rely on charts and on-chain analysis and all that stuff. I do that, but I also leverage my experience in the financial field, and also my experience and knowledge about the macro environment. And they all play together. I know a lot of people rely on TAs and they spout all kind of fractals, patterns, and all that stuff. I think some of it's interesting. I'm not so sure that they work really well. And some people just like go hard on-chain, and that's great. I think long-term on-chain is helpful. However, on-chain may not be helpful in all situations. So I think knowing when to use the right tools, or the combination of tools, and also the knowledge, that's helpful. Naveen said, thanks for your thoughts. Thomas, glad I found your channel so informative. Naveen, I'm glad you are here, and I'm glad you found it, and I'm happy that it's helpful for you. AB said, in a recent video you were showing BTC volume on a larger time frame, and it looked like it has been decreasing since last April. So what would be needed to get back into the uptrend? I believe you are referring to the cumulative volume delta, AB, that I showed earlier in the stream on using coinalyze.net. Yeah, so that pretty much since April 2021, yeah, I think it's 2021. Yeah, so the demand dropped. More than likely that was because retail left. And the people that remained pretty much, because there was so much, how do you guys call it? So much, like so many people calling for 100K, I think BitBoy at one point called 500K in early February or March or something like that. like real a lot, like 250K, 200K, all that stuff. Although those are um, Bitcoin will reach those prices, but in 2021, nah, 500K. That's just ridiculous. Anyways, so yeah, so a lot of the people who stayed pretty much FOMO in to those prices, those moon prices, and pushed it up to the all-time high. If you look at the charts, the amount of um, demand was dropping, so it didn't make sense. What's more important was the 64K all-time high. That was more important than the 69K level, because the other one had more concrete data. It had more demand still in the market. So that to me is a more important level than the 69. What do we need to get it back in? Well, we need retail back in. I think, more smart money institutions are getting in. They're not flowing in at a pace that some people think they are. So that's questionable, but they are. There's more adoption, obviously, but we really need retail. But they're currently not. They started coming back in, but not at the rate that they were before. And I'm sure the economy and the current condition is not helping. So yeah, we need more retail, along with more adoption. Let's see here. AB, do we need more micro strategies before we hit new? Um, I think micro strategy has brought a lot of attention to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency or currencies. So that's great. They pretty much buy and hold. So I'm not so sure that more of them is going to help get all-time highs. They do certainly help decrease the supply, but so far that we see long-term holder numbers have been increasing, which means that they're just accumulating with the and that hasn't changed. But there will come a point where supply is so minimal on the exchanges that price will just blow up, skyrocket. That's gonna happen, and I don't think that's gonna happen soon though. But that will happen. It's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when. Tom said, appreciate the walkthrough. Never able to get the layout to look this useful. We'll definitely reference it again. Thank you. I should do like a basic tutorial on TradingView, and just do like walk from start to finish and just help set things up. That might be helpful. Broccoli said open interest just started increasing. If you watch one of my videos, I did recently, open interest is actually not increasing. It's been decreasing. Um, if in a smaller time frame, it looks like it's increasing, but it's not. But if you zoom out, it's actually decreasing. It's still decreasing. So yeah, hopefully it'll pick back up. Sippy said, my favorite one is to individuate the sentiment of the crowds and do the opposite, the maximum moment of fear or greed. Yeah, it depends who the crowd is, though. If you have a crowd of people who really know what they're talking about, going against them would not be wise. But if you have a crowd of new traders and they're all FOMO in, yeah, time to sell and layer out. So yeah, it depends on who the crowds are. AB, you're welcome. You're welcome. Naveen, have you read The Changing World Order by Ray Dalio? No, I have not. And no, I have not. The cycles of the rise and decline of nations was very interesting. Yeah, I've heard good reviews about Ray's book, and I might just add it to my audible book so I can ride through. I can ride my bike and listen to it at the same time. So thanks for reminding me. Appreciate it. Zadine, I heard theories like if BTC retraces to the 60K zone and get rejected, meanwhile the altcoins are increasing rapidly and very hard. We're done with this bull run, so the money is rotating. Mm, I'm not so sure about that, Zayden. Bitcoin's dominance is still in the low 40s. It's still pretty strong, and as you can see, like just today and between today and yesterday, you know, some of the top altcoins are dropping faster than Bitcoin. Um, if Bitcoin goes to 60K and gets rejected, I think altcoins will still get impacted more than Bitcoin. I think until the day where altcoins decouple from Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin will be still alpha, the alpha dog among the cryptos. Oh, Sippy, you meant YouTube and Twitter? Yeah, I stopped reading a lot of Twitter stuff. I don't watch many YouTube channels at all. Hi, Edgar. Welcome. I like hearing and learning about different perspectives when I feel like they add value and they come from a place that has some credibility and validation. I'll give you some example. There are some people on YouTube that I think are tremendous analysts. James from Investor Answers, for example, he's got a background in finance, very similar to me, and he's worked for some prominent companies, and he's done well for himself. I think his skills are tremendous, and his understanding of the equities market and crypto is phenomenal. At the same time, he's very bullish on Bitcoin and crypto. And sometimes when we have high convictions about something, we tend to lean towards that direction. And although I appreciate his skills and his knowledge, I sometimes think that he leans too much towards his conviction and may not be able to see his own blind spot. So he's one of the few people I actually watch. But I still think there were times in the past when I did challenge his some of his predictions, and it turned out I was lucky and I was right. But I think we got to be careful of who we listen to and who we follow. It's best to always think about opposites. If we lean and think that prices can go one direction, we have to not have to we get to think about what is the potential for the opposite to happen, and come from both perspectives, and then decide. I think that's really, really important. And so for the people you follow, I think it's important that you follow, or not you don't have to. You can take a look at different people that have different skill sets and different perspectives, but also understand that they may lean a certain way based on their convictions. Another person that I really enjoy listening to is TXMC. He's got a YouTube channel and he's got a Twitter. I think he has a pretty balanced approach and yeah, and tremendous skills. I think those two would be the ones I tend to watch if when I do. I don't do it much, but it would be those two. Well, we're thinking we hit an all-time high with the thumbs up on the live stream here. 21. I think some people dropped off. Went in at 17. Now we're down to 12. What other questions you guys got for me? Yeah, this is the volume that you someone was referring to. Yeah, this is the peak right here, April 10th, and just dropped and recently picked up, then level off again. Yep, still ranging at around 42.3.4K. Not surprised. Chances are it will revisit into the 41K zone again this weekend. But it keeps bouncing back up. You see this heavy wall here? That is just bigger now. Yeah, it's a lot more red now than before. Edgar, what do you attribute the drop to? I think various factors, Edgar. One is the macro environment, the quote unquote imminent war or invasion from Russia to Ukraine. That's has a huge impact on the market, and the more imminent it gets, the more the market gets more fearful, because even though war in the long term doesn't actually has a positive impact on the stock market, unfortunately. But in the short term, there will be a tremendous impact. You can see the market like downwick heavy. That's the one. CPI coming in really hot at 7.5, more than the expected 7.2. That had a huge impact. It created more anxiety in the market. And with the Feds not having some clear direction, that leaves the market to guess, and lack of clarity is not good for the market. There's always the C19. It's a huge factor. Even though there's a lot of spin right now, making it feel safer for us to return to normal. The actual data, the death rates, is actually trending as near the highest of the two periods that we've had in the entire pandemic. Logistics, a lot of we still supply chain issues. You got Evergrande still looming. There's a lot of macro issues. The stock market dropping significantly recently, that didn't help either. I think a lot of money moved over from equities to crypto, in particular Bitcoin, and that pushed the price up. And some of them probably sold, took profit. So there's a lot of various factors, but those are some other main ones that come to my mind. Edgar, the volume drop you pointed out, I believe, covered several months. Yeah, it went back. Well, if you're talking about the volume as far as cumulative volume delta (CVD), that went back to April. Naveen asks, do you think the production and electricity costs of Bitcoin miners are strong support levels? I think that depends. I showed that on one of my bottom indicator video. Um, that could be a strong support level. However, we have new machines that are coming out that cost around 4 to 5 thousand as far as an expense to produce one Bitcoin. So if a lot of the miners are switching to newer machines and newer technology, and what is it? Intel is coming out with new chips and machines too. So the cost is going to come down, but currently, especially miners that are using old machines, that cost is probably the expense to produce one Bitcoin is probably still around 28,000. But the price will drop as they change them out. Excuse me. Tom said, I'm not sure if you've said it before, but what are your personal macro view on ETH? That's a good question. Um, I think ETH is, next to Bitcoin, ETH is the big giant gorilla, the 800-pound gorilla. That's not going away anytime soon. Like if something was to happen to the crypto market, for sure, Bitcoin and Ethereum will remain one of the two that will remain for sure. I think ETH 2.0. I've mentioned this in the past. I think they might have switched their name already, but ETH 2.0 coming in 2022 is unlikely. They were predicting that it's going to come this year. I don't think so. I think they're going to have some issues that's going to push them back to probably 2023. And I think they'll always have scaling issues. The transaction fees, the gas fees, I think it will remain high. I feel like that's why Matic is going to be an incredible bet for 2022, 2023. Layer 2 will remain an important part of the Ethereum ecosystem. And I think other chains, layer 1 chains like Solana, FTM, those will come in and eat away at the market share of Ethereum, but Ethereum will still be the dominant layer 1 player, but they'll continue to have those issues they're having now. Twaman said, Ethereum Online is with all crypto exchanges having ads during the Super Bowl that we get a pump early next week with the dump following in regard to the Russia thing. I think this has any validity. I can see why people think that. So there's two theories. One is buy the rumor, sell the news. So when Elon Musk appeared on SNL, what happened to Bitcoin? What happened to Doge? A Doge price rose to 70 cents before Elon hit SNL. And then when he appeared on SNL, guess what happened? It dropped, right? So people bought the rumor and they sold the news. I mean, like when he appeared, they sold it. So I think with the current environment, I mean, could it potentially have a little pump before Super Bowl? Maybe. I don't know. I think the looming issues with inflation and imminent invasion of Ukraine, I think that probably has more precedence than the Super Bowl, but potentially, Yeah, they could have a small pump and then it dives right back down. Tom said, I'm a big fan of Matic and actually do a lot of wrapped ETH trades on DEX. Been layering Matic, but hope it gets down to $1 again. Glad to hear you're a fan. Yeah, Matic is a fantastic project. I think later on, when they spin out from being a layer 2 to being a layer 1, their own layer 1, and still be able to act as a layer 2 for Ethereum, I think that would do tremendous for them. Zayden, a bit of exit liquidity for the whales. Yeah, for sure. uh, I think that's one topic that a lot of crypto influencers who, pride themselves on being like so influential with on-chain or technical analysis. I think they underestimate the manipulation that goes into the order books and also the ability of whales to manipulate the market, dump BTCs or buy BTCs to up the price or dump it to crash spot to influence their the futures market. I think this is underestimated. What other questions you all have? Yoel, Yoel, what's up? Do you think the chance of drop into the low 30s is more likely after 7.5 CPI and Ukraine tensions? I think if you've been following my content for a while, um, I've 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 mentioned that I still have positions into the low 30s and low 20s. I mean, high 20s and mid 20s. So it's been there. I think it's important to be prepared for that. Is it higher now? Probably. Yeah, I think those two factors, more imminent invasion of Ukraine and the CPI coming in really hot at 7.5. Yeah, that provided more opportunities for the downside. Sure. Zayden, are you researching altcoins? If yes, did you plan to drop your research on a YouTube video? Zayden, I did. I was actually I haven't gone back to it in a while, but I was researching about the top 1,000 altcoins, and I got really busy, so I haven't gone back to it. And I have a model that I was seeking help to help me with that, but I've been so busy I haven't gone back to it, and especially right now with the market tanking, it's probably not the best time to do that. So I'm just spending my time doing other things that have priorities over that. But yeah, I was doing that. And am I gonna publish that info? Yes, when the time comes, I will publish those info. UL, same here, but everything seems fake out, over fake out. You know, yeah, it can seem like that. So, for me, I don't worry too much about like, if it's a fake out or not. I just prepare. I have a plan. And I just deploy my plan, and I just sit back and pretty much chill. And like whether the price goes up or down, like it doesn't really matter to me. Um, If the price goes down, I'm happy. If the price goes up, I'm happy too. The reason I'm happy when prices go down is because when prices go down, I'm building wealth. You can't, like, people get sad and depressed. I get where they're coming from because, they feel like um, they bought at 60 and now it's in the 40s. I get it. I totally get it. And that sucks. But it's an opportunity to learn to say, hey, instead of FOMOing in at 60, I'm going to learn how to buy it on the dip or layer in on the dip. So once you get that process down and you get those scales down, it like, you're just like, up or down, doesn't matter. Like, because long term, Bitcoin is going to go up. Most quality crypto is going to go up. That's long term. So if you have enough patience, you hodl, great. And then when it dips, you just got to make sure you have dry powder, cash, or stable coins to buy the dip. And then it's like, no matter what, you're just like happy, And it takes time to get there, but I'm confident that we can get there. Oh, totally. Yeah. It's difficult to control our emotions, but with practice, they can be managed. It takes practice, though, like everything else. It's a skill. Yeah, yeah. It's like you know, understanding ourselves is really important, not just for investment. It's important for investment because we got to be able to regulate our emotions. Like if we are stuck in our reptilian brain, which is our primitive brain, where our feelings are, it's gonna be tough because when you're feeling and you're emotional, it's really hard to think logically or to think um, in ways that will help you because we're feeling. So we gotta disengage from that, and that's easier said than done. If you've ever argued with anyone, you're trying to rationalize with someone when they're feeling strong or emotional, it's very difficult. And so, but it takes practice to be able to disengage or to let go and to change into the logical, the brain, the more modern brain, to rationalize. And yeah, that just, it helps to have someone to talk to too. And unfortunately, some people who are in crypto, they, for some reason, they're not able to share with their loved ones. Maybe their loved ones are not into crypto and they are risk adverse, or they think Bitcoin or crypto is just um, what is it called, a Ponzi scheme or whatever. People have their own opinions, so it can be difficult for a lot of people. Yeah, Edgar. Yeah, it's important to be accepting of our feelings. Oftentimes, society promote happy feelings, and they tell you you shouldn't feel negative feelings like depression or sadness and things like that. No, all feelings are important. It's really important that we recognize that all of our feelings are legit and to accept them. And only when you accept your feelings and be okay with them, that you can learn to regulate them. And to allow yourself to feel a certain way, it's important. And we shouldn't suppress negative feelings or bad feelings. There's no bad feelings. Of course, if you want to go out and hurt someone, that's bad. Um, at the same time, we got to be accepting of our feelings. Okay, I feel a certain way. And how do I move beyond that? Or how do I work through that? That's important. Just be accepting of our feelings. Be empathetic to ourselves and others. That's critical. And society spends more time, teaching us reading, writing, arithmetics, and the fundamentals of what we consider, we need to survive in life. Unfortunately, how to handle our feelings, mental health, And those are critically important because we are feeling creatures, and oftentimes that's neglected. I mean, like think about it. How much time is spent teaching people to understand their feelings as they go from kindergarten to high school or through college. Um, it's so neglected. It's unfortunate because it's such an important part of our humanity and social environment. Edgar, I completely agree with you. Yeah, Edgar said if you keep considering your feelings your enemy, you war with yourself. If you embrace your emotions as information, then they become much more friendly. I completely agree with you. Yep, for sure. And you know, FOMO is it's a very difficult feeling, especially for newer people. It's a very difficult. You know, you believe in all the hype, you FOMO in, you get wrecked, and then you get a correction to the downside, and you're stuck and feeling like horrible. And then some people panic, and it's natural to panic because you're 20,000 under or whatever, or 50% under, and now you panic and you think you can lose all your money, so you panic sell, and now you're like, when you panic sell, you realize the loss, and now you can't get any back. You know, unless you come back in at a lower price range. But oftentimes people are so hurt that they don't come back in. Yeah, for sure, you feel trapped. And people who use leverage, high leverage, that's even worse. They can get wrecked so fast. Oh, we're back. Oh, wow, we're 20 now. We're 20 watchers. Wow, what a big group. Probably the biggest group we've had so far. For those who are just joining, feel free to type something in the chat box. Would love to know who you are. I think some whales do understand crowd psychology and human psychology. I think some whales um, are just lucky to be where they are, and some of them are still very much beginners. They just have a lot of money, so it varies. Ooh, look at that! We got some bigger buy orders coming in, pushing the price up to 42.4 now. And look at that big, bigger sell wall on top. Where's my? Oh, there it is, right here. Whoa, that's not what I want. Yeah, when you zoom in like this, you can see more details, and the buy orders are actually much smaller. So quiet, people in who are watching. Edgar, you just follow on Twitter. You must be new you must be new. AB, are we going back to 40K now? Um, I highly doubt it. You know, I mean, anything's possible, but I highly doubt 45K is at least in the next couple hours. Oh, at your second time watching, I just saw you join on Twitter, so I thought you might be new, or maybe you were on Twitter, you were on YouTube before, and you just joined Twitter. Well, if this is your second time watching, as far as live stream, I've only had 3, so. All right. Oh, got you, Edgar. How long have we been let me see here. What time did I tweeted that out? 2 hours. We've been doing this for 2 hours. I think I'm gonna wrap up, you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Tesh Tube, welcome again, Tesh Tube. Nice to see you back. Where do I think BTC is gonna head today? I think it's gonna crab sideways, but I think it'll retest into the 41K zone, and I don't mean like 41K. I mean like 41, between 41 and 42K. I think it'll retest into there. Then it'll crab sideways, but definitely it'll retest. Yeah. Okay, what else you guys got before we wrap up? Because I gotta get to bed. All right, you guys. Appreciate you joining. Thank you so much, especially some of you regulars, like from the first time and the second time. And again, I so appreciate those who hung around the first time and second time, because the lag was so horrible. Appreciate it, you guys. Hit the like, subscribe if you haven't, and leave some comments if you want. Appreciate it. I'm gonna do an outro here. See if it works. Oh, there we go. Outro. Have a good night, good morning, good day, good afternoon. Peace.